It says I'm live. Yippee. Oh no, bring it back. Bring it all back, please. I just want my code. Sign into chat? Nah, fam. Well, okay. Cool beans. Me and my 0 viewers about to rock this fucking world. Hell yeah. I know. Oh no. Breaking everything already. Mouth track, please. I'm begging you. Blink, 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 blink again. Blinking so many times. All of the blinking, all of the working. Blinkety blink, 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 blink. Damn, pure silence. I'm just sitting here in pure silence now. Damn, okay, that's a delay. Me and my one viewer about to rule the world, as I am me and my one viewer. It is I, me. In the chat in a fucking browser, dude. Lame. Lame. There, perfect. Time to become the greatest of all VTubers. Master of the 4 Vs. Programming is one of the Vs. I don't know what the last 3 are. Well, right now, I am testing out just not necessarily algorithms, just random variations of my tile, uh, my tile prefab spawner or generator to generate tiles into a list of other tiles so that it can be identified by their position on the grid later for adjacency. So each tile knows what it's adjacent to. So here, I actually want to move that because I want the statement here, and then this will be in an else. So if spawn tiles count is not an even number. Is not an even number, then I want it to do this. Opposite. where I want it to instead of increasing the y and increasing the x, I want it to subtract the y, subtract the x. And we'll just see where that takes us. So this is what my algorithm or code currently does for the spawning. This is the second iteration. The first one was cooler, though there were many issues with duplicate tiles for some reason. So I'm trying out new methods. Uh, so this is the starting position of 0, 0, and then the rest of the tiles are building off of that. And I want to add in the negatives so that instead of only going positive x, positive y in this pattern, sure, if I can center the camera and place a tile here, place the town tile in the center, it can be centered still, but that's not the generation I want. Uh, so what I'm gonna do is end that one, and since I already closed my fucking great. Oh, since we already saved this, should yep, a little bit different. Okay. Um, Now I can't say I'm necessarily surprised with this outcome, but I'm a little disappointed in the outcome. I think that's a negative negative? No? That is 0, -1 or something? Well, I don't understand why I don't. Why. Oh, hold on. I don't understand why it's not seeing this 10, -14. So it's not -10. Why? It's literally right there. Why? What? Oh, I have no idea what you could possibly be searching for when you say -10, 14. You're missing the brackets. You're insane. We can't tell what that is. And that's not even showing up fun. I hate everything that's going on right here. Okay. Well, I'll run it again. Okay. Yeah, no. So it is sticking positive, positive, negative, negative. Okay, okay. So, like I said, not too surprised that that's happening. It's kind of what I predicted for the most part. I thought it would sprawl a little more, but because I need two more cases of which the x is positive and the y is negative, and then the y is positive and the x is negative. But it's not going to be as simple as if this is equal to an even number. So now I get to figure out how I want to go about that. And as someone who has little knowledge, I'm probably going to figure out the most rancid ass answer anyone has ever seen. But it'll run. Oh boy, it'll run. I don't want it to be completely random. I want there to be some sort of like sensibleness to it. Because if it's completely random, it's just gonna loop forever. So I could have it be based. 4 different cases. I mean, I could do it like this. If I take spawn tile.count divided by 4, and then if it's a 0, do this. Else if, well, this might be a little easier. Okay. I'm gonna take my tile count. I'm gonna replace this variable there so that I can do this a lot easier. And honestly, it could probably be a case statement instead of a bunch of if, else ifs. But I kind of actually do not remember how to do switch case statements in this. Like this. Expected. Well, I know that's expected. But yeah, no, this is actually just. Is it automatically an int anyways with the switch? Does it just need the variable? Yeah, okay. Okay. Well, I'm not completely lost, I think. So if it's not 0, it's not 1, it's not 2, and then it would be 3, but I think it needs a default. So break. They're all gonna have breaks on them because I'm trying to expand my like list of programs or like list of functions and things that I use because like I've almost never used switch cases outside of school assignments, but oh boy do I use if statements and for loops, which not great, but so in this case we want it to do this and break. How do I want to do this? Can I back this up to the first one? Okay, we'll do it like this. Less disgusting to look at, I guess, in my opinion. I don't know, I might want to tap this in one more. Okay. And same thing for the rest of these, except I no longer need that. Cool. Okay. I am getting annoyed with the cluster of code that I'm seeing. Oh boy, is it clustered in this. Alright, so now we just go through here. Doesn't really matter in my case which way I'd put this in. It just needs to have one of each is all. Just 4 directions, not too bad. What I would like to do is implement a little bit of, oh boy, that's not what I want to see. Is it just doing the default because I can't get the other switches cases? Oh, because I'm silly and I didn't do this. I forgot to get the not get the actual there we go. Okay. Well, the next pattern, yes, but that okay. Once more. Makes sense. I was hoping for it to not be such an X, though. Like, is that just gonna be up to chance then? Feels like a lot more up to chance. Like, I really did like my initial algorithm. Like I said, it was producing extra tiles for no reason. I was messing up the adjacency system completely. So I'm gonna get rid of this print statement just so I can clear up my log a bit. Because on tile adjacency on mouse down, do I have it on tile adjacency? No, I don't. Was it on tile? Okay. So is all this happening still? It should be. So my hope is to click on one of these tiles and stuff pops up. Nothing happens. Okay, so my hope is false. Forever gone. Big sad. We still have the tile script. Okay. So let me figure out what is going on. It's being clicked. So it's either not receiving these components or they are empty. So what I'm gonna do is log keys dot count first to check if the keys are empty, which the keys are probably the culprit. Because I don't remember if I ever set those back up after breaking my system. Yeah, no. Okay, 0 keys. Alright, as I thought. Now let's check if the JSON list, because as long as the JSON list has stuff inside of it, we are fine. If it doesn't, that's extra work I forgot about. Zero. Alright, that means nothing is happening at all when it spawns. Okay. So what is happening to its adjacency list then? Alright. So tile adjacency, the replace tile is checking for adjacent. Checking for adjacent is doing adjacent check with these positions. Put in. Okay. I'm not really sure what's going on here. Okay, so let me put that back in for now. I say I'm not really sure what's going on here as it's my code, but it is also not working in the capacity of which it was working before, because like I said, I reworked the entire grid system, and it's relied on some parts of that, I think, and yeah, like spawn tiles and then having specific keys for the game object, and I don't think this is really working anymore. So let me add that line of code back in, because that was what was placing local tile. This is what should be adding it to the thing. I think it was just returning true all the time, but I needed to return false. But it is cool if it doesn't. It is cool if it doesn't do the replacing tile, because I don't think we have to replace any tiles anymore. That was part of the whole system. Cat, cat, dance, cat. God damn it. I am V2 Mingman. Cat needs to do cat things, or I am simply just talking while a static cat is statically staticking around the static. 0, 0. Oh, that's not what I want to see. Because it should be putting stuff in the adjacency list now. So when it turns false, it should be adding it to the array. Okay, so create grid, spawn tiles, key. Let me debug log the key that it's producing when it does the thing. I'm curious to see if there's any like weird numbers. So right now it'll do it if it detects the key. So then I can at least check if it's even detecting any of the keys. Okay, so I'm a little curious on the 999 plus. Oh yeah, it's 6 times, whatever. Okay. So it seems they are detecting keys. So it knows the keys exist. But then it's checking the array of its adjacent tile array, which is a dictionary. And and then break grid.spawn tiles key.game object. So it is taking that game object and taking the key, and it is checking to see if this key exists in here. And if it doesn't, which it shouldn't at this point, then it should just be adding it to the list. Alright, I don't know why it's not adding any of them to the list though now. Like that, it should be. It just straight up should be. If it's, if it is discovering tiles, that means it can pull those tiles. So where in the McFuck is my stuff, my guy? Come on. It's not cool. Not very cool. I think I'm gonna just rework all this because I know I'm detecting. I know I'm detecting. So we have get adjacent list, which returns adjacent tiles. We have add key, which adds the key to the list of keys. We have the get keys. We have the add to tile list. Tiles.count. Okay, so it is finding the key. So what I want to do now is I just want to just figure out what's going on here. I want to debug the game object of the spawn tiles at key dot name. And what I'm going to do is go back to create grid. I'm going to rename all of them as they spawn. On tiles. Yeah, okay, so I did the same thing here. So I'm just going to do this, Control C, and then I'm gonna just set the name. Name equals to, I want to name it, it's a X and technically Y values, but it's the Z value. Yeah, just like that. Thank you AI for filling that in. Alright, so now it will debug log the name of it as well that it finds, hopefully. Okay. Uh, so now I need to keep the debug log of the key and then also debug the log the name because I need to make sure that the key is actually lining up with the object. Is all. Alright. And give that a run. Yeah. So negative 10, 8, negative 10, negative 9. Yep, 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 yep. Okay, cool. So it's finding them. Okay, that's very fun, very cool, very neat, very demure. What we can do now. So we want to check. Okay, this can be a void. And it's also going to be a public check array. And then I think I will do a private setter because nothing else should need access besides this code for. Oh, you would do a setter then. Like I don't need this anymore. Um, but what I do need to take is the I need to take the key. It needs the key and it needs the game object. And then so in this case, if the spawn tiles contains key, so we can take in a vector2 key and we can take in a nope, we take in a game object. I can name this whatever I want. I will go with tile because that's what I've been doing for the most part. And then what I can do now is check if it is in adjacent tiles. So if adjacent tiles dot contains key of key, then we are going to simply just return, do nothing else. Alright, and then if it doesn't contain the key, then we are going to just simply add adjacent tiles. Nope, not this way. This way. Dot add keys and then tile as the tile option. So now when I call this, I no longer need this. Now when I call this, I should probably add it to keys as well. I'll add key. Make it private for now. It's the only reference I'm making to it anyways. I'm not really sure where is referencing get keys. Oh, yeah. The tile right now is referencing get keys. Okay. So all that's left here is to, well, fix that, right? I'm not missing any weird, brackets here. It just doesn't look, I don't know, just look weird. As long as it compiles, I don't know. Sometimes I mess up a bracket, happens. Alright, so now all I have to do is just call it here from check array. We are checking it for key and we want to put this game object at key. And then we can also check array for the other one, which instead of key will be a new vector of this, except of adding not adding the xa and z to the vector. We're just plain position. And the key, we no longer need this because the object, this is the game object that we want to put into the list, which would be this own game object. But we could also give it the create grid spawn tiles of position of its own cell position, because it would also just retrieve itself as the game object. I will just try this method. I'm not really sure if it'll make any difference. It might even be slower for all I know, but let's just see what happens, and then I'll swap it around and check to see if what I think is correct here will work. Okay, well, it's debugging that still. So that is not a number I want to see after clicking that one. I can remove this for now. I'm seeing an issue. I need to do this. I have to get the component of adjacent tile. And then since adjacent tile is public and not private, right? Yeah, I can just call it like that. And then I'll have to do the same thing with the add key. Add key is private. Oh, you know what I did wrong? I mean, correct where I could do it this way too, because I'm calling from the tile. But what I wanted to do is this. I want to call it from this object. I'll get component, same component of tile adjacency, and then we are going to dot check array. That's why I made it public. Okay, now we run it again. All right, click on that. 8. All right, that's 2 more than what should be there. 2, -5, -4, -3, -4, -5, -3, -3, -4, -4, -2, -3. Okay, so at least it's all different values, but this should not be happening. There should not be 8 different. Should not be 8 different things in the array. This should only be called 3 times. So let me remove this part. Do game object. Probably still gonna be 8. But I gotta figure that out. They're all 8. All of them are 8. So it's not a fluke. I'm wondering if one of them is adding itself. So let me reset this. Let me go scene, play. It's gonna kick me in a game anyway, but seeing. I will select this tile, this mountain tile. This mountain says that it is 911. Great tile to choose. Alright. I can't even click it properly, but so this one says 7. No, it is not counting itself. So what should be happening is there should be at most 6 6 connection points onto the hexagon, right? Okay, most of them are saying 8 again. But this mountain being at 911 should be 910. Do we see 910? I see 910. It should be 1011. I see 1011. It should be 811. I see 811, so these 3 are correct. It should be 0 and 1. So this one should be 912, correct? Okay. Then it should be 810, correct? And then it should be 8 minus 1, 8 plus 1, 12. So this should be 812. I don't see an 812, but I do see a 1010 and a 1012. So 1010 should be nowhere near that. Right? I don't know. So 1010, 1011, 1012, 1010. To get 1010, that's plus 1 minus 1 from 911. Wait, no, that's plus 1 plus 1. I don't even have a plus 1 here. I should have a plus 1 here. I don't. But not only that. So it's added in. Alright, I think I'm starting to understand a little bit. So it's. This got this added to it when this was created. Well, when this is created, this shouldn't be here yet. Okay. Well, let's just have the tiles worry about their own list for now. I know that I'll have to make up for that still, like, because I know that if this tile places down before this tile is not going to have any knowledge of this tile. But this tile will know of these 3 tiles. And I'm hoping that all of the outside tiles will just be correct, 1, and 12, -6 is the connecting piece to that. Shoot, where was I looking? Rotated. Okay. 12, -6. Perfect. But now let's click 12, -6. 3. Okay. Are those 3 correct? 13, -6. 11, 11, -5. 11, -6. Okay. Let's try 1 in the center, like here. 6. Okay. Well, alrighty. I am I am cool. I'm glad this is working, I guess. But hear me out. I have no clue why. I was under the impression that maybe it's the way that the tiles are being initialized, because I think they are being initialized all in a wake. And then I'm calling this in start. That's probably what's happening, is they probably are already spawned in the grid array or the dictionary, but they're just not like on the board. They're in the game space. So the method I was doing was just adding unnecessary random tiles to the list. But this method seems to just removing that completely just seems to work. So I don't even need this to be a public. This can be private. Don't need any of this. Theoretically, XNZ should always be found because the tile also exists to find this code. Correct, but also incorrect because plus C plus X. So I'm silly. First loop to check out, no longer viable. Okay, cool. So, I mean, the names of my functions are pretty self-explanatory. And I feel like most of the time I don't even need comments for anything. So yeah, this is the order of my X, Y, Z, and that's why Z is technically Y in the positioning, but it is the Z value. So it's marked as Z. I just have to plug everything in with a dot Ys. Okay, go and save this. I'll try Twitch next. I'll have to make a new account. Okay. Also, all of the R assets currently being used for my testing purposes are all free assets from the Unity store. I've yet to work on any assets. I've just simply been trying to get the tile system working and uh, getting this adjacency system to just work. And then I think I finally reached a point of which the tile adjacency system works, but I want to further the procedural generation of the world. I want to implement a little bit of wave collapse function, wave function collapse, to determine which tiles can and cannot be spun next to each other. Um, hey, that's actually neat. A artifact of just sort of like, this is the first time my world generation has produced a hole like at all in the land mass. Even though it's just one hexagon, it's still cool. I want to see it. Because of the way it grows, it can't like go out and then come back. It can only go left, go up, go left, go up. I still think my first world generation system was way cooler. Like, it was definitely not as clean looking as this is. It's definitely a little cleaner, but I liked the sporadic generation a lot more. Okay. Well, okay. So because it's already creating the tile adjacency, it'll make it excuse me. It'll make it, I feel, pretty easy to do a wave function collapse. I can't remember because I can just detect what the tile is next to it, and then this tile code will have its tile type, which I'm going to make a what public string. Public string of type. I don't know. That feels vague. Tile type. Yeah, a little better. Try to get better at this naming prefixtures. I'm trying to use lowercase, no underscores, and then on these, on my functions, I use. I'm trying to use all caps, and then for inside variables, I usually use underscores. Unless it's just some code I fucking copied and pasted and went with the world position. But yeah, most things I will try to do underscores in front of just to keep up with the naming prefixtures. Okay. I will have to find some music that I can put up in the background for the streams. I have my Spotify playing, but I can't turn that on because of, copyright. So it's a little annoying, and I'm sure anyone who would want to watch a stream would probably appreciate some background music. Um, this update no longer needs to be called. Um, initializing lists. On start, we create blank grid. We are creating the grid on start. What is happening? I'm okay. Hmm. Maybe it's because it's in the for loop. It computes all of this before it can even get to the instantiation part of everything, where it adds it to the list. Oh boy. Because I'm glad it's working, but I need to know how it works so if I want to make tweaks later, I don't break everything. You know? Meow, 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 meow. I can't wait till I have my own model. I want a frog. Give me frog. Kitty cat, very, very cute. Frog, absolute menace. I want to be menace frog. Absolute menace. Pepe levels of menacery. So I want it to be longer than taller, so why don't I make it so that if it's not equal to 0 for all of these on the X, and then I increase this number to be 3. Please. Never struggled so hard to change a single number to a 3. Okay, that's a little better. Alright, well, I know what I'll be working on next, I think. Uh, if I did it correctly, if I did it correctly, it should already be set up in a way that just modifying the fixed delta time will affect this time. But this timer has been going ever since I left to I must. And yeah, it's not even done yet. This is what I wanted for the length of each in-game day to be, and you were supposed to play 365 of those. I'm not really sure if I really want to do 365 of this day. My plan was to allow player to just speed up the time, which is what I'm going to implement next. But if that isn't enough, which I have a feeling it might not be, then I will probably want to decrease the overall day length probably 25%. Right now it is, I believe, for in-game every in-game hour is 30 seconds. So it is a minute to 2 hours. It is 12 minutes over a 24-hour day. So it's not incredibly long, and if I add a times 2 speed, then it's 6 minutes, and if I add a times 4 speed, that will be 3 minutes. So 3 minutes, it's still a pretty good chunk of time for one day at max speed. A lot of things can happen within the day, but if I want 365 of them for like a full run, I'm not sure if that is going to be viable. So I don't know. I should have an idea. Like that's was what I wanted, but things change as the progresses, and I decide other things, or other people mention something, or I think something's cool and it just sticks around. I can't say I'm too mad about this rule generation. Making it longer definitely made it less of an X, and that's what I wanted. I just limited it in its X position sprawl so that it doesn't go up as much. It just goes out wider. What I might do is change that percentage a little more. So what I'm going to do now is make this, I say, 10. Alright? And then instead of being not equal to 0 and giving it a 90% chance, we are going to do is greater than, no, is less than 7. So 6, 5, 4, 3, 2. So it's a 6 out of 4. Well, plus 0. So 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. So 7 out of 9 possible options. Yeah, that's what I want. Okay. 7. I should probably just make that a variable so that I'm not constantly tweaking it. Um, okay, and then I can just replace all the 10s with tile max so that if I ever want to change these again, it's not such a pain in the butt. And then same thing with these 7s. I will probably go ahead and just give that a variable. Not very much we can do, but the fact that it's a new what do you call it? it's not a comparator or whatever. It's a different comparison. So I have to manually replace that anyways. Sure, good enough. Okay, just run that, see what happens. I might give it more than 365 tiles. 365 was kind of just the number because is also just the days. All right, that is not what I want to see. All right, let's go ahead and bring that max down. No, the max is the same. Let's go and just move this to 60. Okay, cool. This is why I have a variable, huh? Alright, I'm just changing all of the 7s to a 6. Okay. So what does a 50-50 look like? So it's back to this pattern. So maybe the hmm. Okay, why don't I quickly back up everything on GitHub so I can just mess around with a bunch of different variations of this without worrying about losing any progress. Um, I haven't backed up to GitHub in a second, so you get a peek into my desktop. Welcome to my very clean, very not clean desktop. Yeah, I don't know what I'm doing. All right. I am on branch laptop, but I'm on my desktop. Fixed JSON list. Also started reading tile generation. 90% of my errors are from my actually 80%. 80% of my errors are from my keyboard. I'll give myself 20%. I'm pretty bad at typing. But my keyboard is broken and it double inputs on some things, so I have to like backspace a lot and it's frustrating typing. So I'm gonna push that, but I think what I want to do is I want to switch to desktop. I want to just merge laptop into desktop. For now. I just have two branches. I don't know. I've just had way too many issues on GitHub. I am 90% of the reason for that. The 10% is GitHub being stupid, silly, stupid GitHub. You know. as I go, as it goes. You know. I wish I could like actually broadcast the music I listen to because it's just vibes, but you know, you gotta you gotta love all that copyright striking. Can't have no fun. Okay, well, pull up the old this. All right. So what I'm thinking is it would return a vector 2. Alright, I'm thinking about making a new function that is that makes vectors 2's, which will be these new keys, but it also just so spawn tile calls this get random tile. Okay, so what I might do is change this from a random number to a switch case. Let me comment this in. Change to switch case take an int input. So this will then send a new input. I need to have it take a new int input as well. So spawn tile is now also going to take int tile tile. Yeah. Tile type. And tile type is going to be put into get random tile because get random tile is also going to require that. Excuse me. Cool. Alright. I'll just have it give 0 for now. That number will be given okay, so it'll actually big brain plan. My function is actually going to output vector 3's. So my new code function, I'm considering putting in a new script. That's just what I've been contemplating doing at the moment. I could make it a static. Yeah, I'll just put it here for now. I'll consider it just for cleanup later, putting it on its own script because it very well could be, just to make it better, more readable. Because it'll probably be pretty big eventually once if I keep adding new modules to it. So now what we'll do is it'll be for now, just a private vector 3. Vector 3, we're gonna call this it is essentially just going to be the algorithm that produces the positions for the tiles. So okay, so in order for this to work, I do also need to set the tiles tile type that I put up over here earlier. Coming back to that, I need it right now. Okay, it's erroring because I'm not done here. World grid generator. All right, that's fine. So now we're going to return. I'll just do a new vector 3 int of this for now, just to clean it up. Okay. So I want to move all of this. So the loop is going to happen still. All of this code is going to be basically removed, changed. For now, I will just copy it and paste it into this. It seems I need these. Yeah, it's just so much. Okay. So then this is going to return. Oops. World grid generator dot x, and then it's dot y and then dot z. Oh, right here it's the dot y. Yeah, you're right. I can't do that. So what it'll be is a vector 3 int as return. Because it's fine being vector 3 int, it doesn't need to be a float for this. In fact, int is better. I'm working with integers. So then what it's going to do is going to return its new key x. Control C. It's going to return new key dot y dot x. So this part just generates the. Okay, yeah, I'm definitely gonna put this into a new script now because I need to add another function to work with this grid generator function, and it's just so many functions on this create grid script already. So I am going to make a new script, probably called world grid generator. So what I'm gonna want to do is just rename this to something else. Um, it's also gonna need to be public now. World grid generator. I can call. I could just call it world grid. That's kind of what it's doing. And the world grid generator is the name of the script. Okay. Okay. Can I make these static? Okay. That would make it easier. Just Control C, Control S. Gonna minimize this. I'm gonna pause this for now. Create. Actually, no. I'm gonna go into scripts. Create new script. We're gonna name this world grid generator. Sure. Very, very good English. Can spell very nice. No spelling mistakes at all. 100%. Oh yeah. Okay. Cool. So this will then need access to spawn tiles. So what I will do then is just say that's a dictionary of type vector. No. Of type vector2 and game object. And then we're just going to call it spawned tiles. Done and done. Cool. No more errors. All right. So now from here I can. Doesn't give the argument of spawn tiles. You are so correct. It doesn't give the argument yet because I just gave it. I just gave the argument. Silly gooses. All right. Okay, it should just generate as normal. No. Okay, cool. Item with the same keys already been added. Key, yada yada. Okay, cool. Hold up. Tiles. Okay. Now for tile count, it's gonna do spawn tile. It's this. New key equals vector 0, 0 while it contains this key Spawn tiles. Hmm. Okay. XYZ. Okay. I'll run it again. I'm just curious. It receives the dictionary. Spawn tiles. Spawn tiles, it checks to see if spawn tiles has a key of 00, which it should. So it should be doing one of the switch case statements. But it is not. Is it? Maybe because it is a static statement. What I can do instead is try to apply it to this grid object, which is totally fine, and then just call it as a git component. Ick. Git component, world generator, dot world grid. Yeah. This looks like a lot. I might give it a variable to clean it up, but this will work here just to test this out. Okay. So, I mean, same error, not in necessarily the same spot, but it's still telling me that 0, 0 already exists. Alright. So why are you trying so desperately to build a tile on 0, 0? I don't know. I really don't know why. Adds vector of position x, position z. Position x, position z is given by vector spawn tile. Yeah, okay, spawn tile is given from the x of the vector and from the y of the vector. Maybe I need to get the z of the vector here. Let's try that. No, that immediately broke again. Okay, cool. X, y, go back to y, and instead of a 0, we can do Control C, Control V, and make that that. Yeah. Okay. Break grid 103. Break grid 103 is when I'm spawning to add it. Tells me it goes back to create blank grid. Create blank grid just goes to create grid. Line 68, which just goes to create keys. So, okay, it has to be from the world grid generator causing an issue then. Oh, I see what is happening. It's because I'm calling a new instance of it. It's because I'm calling a new instance of it in each variable position. So it not only does it look messy, I also have to now fix it. Anyways, so I'll just go new, because it's just producing a new vector 3 each time I call the function. I don't know why I didn't think of that before. New vector. I'll do vector 3 int because it's what it's going to take anyways. And then it's going to equal, it doesn't need to be a new vector 3, and vector 3 int spawn tile data. Then it'll just be this. Control C, Control V. And then here I will just plug in this. Dot Z, dot Y, dot X. Okay. Now when I hit play, hopefully it just does the X pattern like it did before. Yay. Okay. Alright, so I fixed my problem. I fixed my problem by creating my own problem first and then fixing that problem, as all great programmers do. Create 74 problems, solve them one at a time. I no longer need this awake statement. So now I can get to work on the system of which it detects what's next to itself. I'm a little curious. See, now if I... Oh, that's not cool. Okay. Okay. So because of the way I have it set up, it's always building off of an existing tile. So it just needs to check the existing ones. It doesn't matter new ones that are placed down. So this system can work. Okay. I had to think about it. I had to think it out. So I will just end up having a new function. That function is going to take a same dictionary of spawn tiles, and it is just going to get it from this one, because world grid is going to call this function. This function is going to be private. Double clicks void. Um, it's not gonna be a void. We're gonna have return an int, and then I can place that int in this return. Check tile. Check touching tiles. See, if I were to run this code after the tiles themselves have already created their own adjacency lists, I could do it through their adjacency lists. But because I am not doing that and doing it while I am still creating the positions, I will just have to check for surrounding tiles in a similar fashion that I do in the adjacency check. So I'll probably just copy and paste the function, check for adjacent, Control C, take that as well. Did I do silly? Check touching tiles. We're gonna just have a return 1 for now. And then we're going to put this here. We're gonna have it take in a dictionary, spawn tiles. And then we're going to have it give it the spawn tiles. Alright, and I will also need the adjacent check, which is the actual adjacency check of the whole thing. Oops, wrong code. So I have to get its cell position. So that's fine. I will probably just get the cell position in inside the code. Oh, that's a grid. That's just create grid, hex grid. Variables, but there's no real reason to make it a variable, so. And then it's just if this has its contained key, then what we are going to do is just get its. We're going to have an array of strings. So we're going to have string. I'm also going to do this really quick. I don't think I need this. String array. No, we're gonna do a list because actually, it'll be a lot easier to just add to that instead of just making a vec. I could just make the array 6. Because the max it can be is 6. I mean, realistically, the max it can be is like. No, I guess max it can be is 6. It could spawn in the center of like a ring of them. I'll have to see how this behaves. Uh, I'll try to just make the default to be the plain tile, I suppose. So if it outputs any other number. Okay. So let's string called tile types. Um, okay, so I would want to. I probably want to create the list in like awake and then clear the list right before I check for adjacent. So what I am actually going to do is initialize this in awake. Or I don't need to initialize on awake, I guess. What I can do is just make this and then initialize it before I start the calling right here. So first we are going to check for JSON. And then once we get our tile types back, tile types. Types.add. Then we're going to go create grid spawn tiles dot get. No. Key. Gotta put the key in first. Key dot get component. We are getting the tile component, and then dot what did I call it? Tile type. Yeah, cool. Ooh, I've been doing this for 2 hours already. Dang. Okay. So the tile type now being put into the array or the vector list. Then now once it checks for adjacent, then we are going to for how do I want to do this? I think I'm gonna have, because I need to check all of them first. Okay, let's see. I don't like just throwing a bunch of things up here, but I'll do it. So I'm gonna do a few bools. I'm gonna do private bool base, basic tile, advanced tile, lucky tile, blank tile. Okay. Eventually this will probably get more advanced and I'll probably figure out a different way to do it, but this just to get a test of what I want to try at least. I'll stick with this idea. So now I'm just going to take all of these and set them down here. Right, because it just needs to reset it each time. And then inside this for loop, we'll do for int I equals 0, and then I is less than the spawn tiles dot count. No, 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 no. Nope. Completely wrong. Speaking straight doo-doo. We are doing tile types count. And then I is plus plus, and then we are going to if tile types I if the tile type is equal to basic. Okay, so I'm going to in the create grid, I have to now make sure that if it is set to blank. Okay. Let me double check. Am I calling that? Oh, we're adding the tile type there. Okay. So if it equals basic, so we have type blank. We have, oops. We have type lucky. We have type advanced. And we have type basic. Alright. So if it is type basic, see, oops, Control Z, Control V, Control V, Control V, else, 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 advanced, ducky, and blank. Okay. So now what it's going to do is set this value to true if it finds any. At all times, one of these should be true. Once again, this could probably be solved with the switch case statement, but I am forever stuck in the else if statement hell. My bad. So if it does that, turning 1, okay. So it's always returning 1, so now let me just test this, because if I set it so that the value it takes in, so let me do none of this, right? Let me do a switch of tile type, please. And then case 0, case 1, case 2, should just do a default case. I should do is case 3 and then a default case, just in case of an error. Well, I will do a case 3, and then I will do a default case. Each one of these should break. Alright. So for 1, I want it to be blank. Whatever, I'll just make it 0. Just make it 0. Okay. Get rid of that. Do basic at 1. Do advance at 2. Do lucky at 3. I mean, I already kind of liked my distribution, so I might keep. It's fine. So you're telling me it's just as an unassigned local variable because of this default not having it. So only real way I can really test this is by, I think, spawning in a undiscovered tile. So I think I would have. I can use town tile. I don't need to import the undiscovered tile. It'll save me a headache. Let's do that for now. Alright, cool. Alright, well. So if everything is working correctly, it should at the moment only be printing trees. Yes, okay. Well, it's working. Okay. Maybe I should take a second and write in some comments into my code because I wouldn't be able to tell what's going on right now. Alright, check for adjacent. Okay. Alright, that's about the same. That's roughly the same. I no longer need all this. Blank grid. Self-explanatory there. Create keys. Starts the call here. Creates the new vector3 int of spawn tile data to get components of the world grid generator. Which world grid generator then creates positions and tiles by using the spawn tiles, knowing okay, this part, new key will be kept. This part, definitely, like all of this is going to be just redone. Not really sure yet, but this also needs to get completed. So what I need to do now is figure out what I want to be able to touch themselves, and which tiles I do not want to allow to touch others. Because I haven't really thought about that very much, and now it's needed, so. Because I have a basic idea. I just need to map it out. Okay. I do not want to wake up tomorrow for work. No, sir, I do not. Okay. Okay. I was looking through my journal to find a blank page for for this, and I came across some sketches of a previous game I was trying to make on the mobile. I like the character designs, so I might come back to them for another project. Maybe giggle. Such a silly little thing. Okay. So of course blank is allowed to be next to blank. So blank can spawn next to any, I think. So honestly, blank should just be the default. But, yeah. Blank being 0 is fine. So blank equals 0. Lucky tiles can't spawn next to blank tiles, though. But blank can spawn on lucky wouldn't work. I don't want there just lucky can only be touching blank and basic. Lucky can only touch blank and basic. Advanced, then in turn would only be able to touch blank and basic. But I think what I'm gonna do is make it so they can only touch basic. That'll make advanced tiles just as rare as the lucky tiles, though. Okay, well, hold on. So let's make lucky only spawn on blank. Let's make advanced spawn on basic and blank. Then let's make basic spawn on advanced and blank. And lucky? Because basic can't spawn on lucky if lucky can only be spawned or touching blanks. Okay, I'll try out the algorithm. I'll try out the pattern I have here, see how it feels. It's probably gonna feel very unbalanced. There's probably gonna be not nearly enough basic tiles. There's probably gonna be just as much, if not maybe more advanced tiles. So I want advanced to be able to spawn off of basic and blank, but not advanced. Basic can spawn off of advanced and blank and basic. Okay, now I see it now. Okay. Because lucky needs blank. Advanced can spawn on basic and blank. It can't spawn on advanced, it can't spawn on lucky. Basic can spawn on advanced, blank, and basic, but it can't spawn on lucky. And then blank can spawn on advanced, basic, lucky, and itself. Blank. That's what I was forgetting. I was forgetting that it can spawn on itself. Okay. So this will basically just be a trickle down of if else is as well again. So it'll be a if okay, I could do this where I start with lucky. So if it equals blank, if blank tile equals true. Okay. So they can't be nested inside of if blank tile. It would have to be backwards. So it'd be if it's a lucky tile. If lucky is true, hold on. If lucky tile is true, then it has to place a blank no matter what. So returning 0 would be the answer. Alright, and then if lucky tile is not equal to true, then we'll do an else if it's advanced, else if advanced tile equals true, then we will need to move this out of my way, jeez. Okay. Advanced tiles equal to true, then I would need to check if there was a basic tile or not. If advanced is true, then it can spawn either return either 0 or 1 for blank or basic. Okay. And then another else if it is a basic tile, if there is a basic tile in the mix, then it can spawn any of the types besides hold on. It can spawn anything but lucky. Okay. So it'll just return and then finally would be an else where you can you can trophy. Else if blank tile equals true, return either 0, 1 or 2, or 3 for blank or basic or advanced or lucky. So I think I would want to make the odds in here just even odds. So I will do switches, I think, which where I'll take a random dot range of, for this one, 0 to 2. Okay, well, I can actually just do this, not think about it, just as easily, because I'm returning an int. Anyways. So what I can do is just set this to 4, set this to 3, save it, and what we should see Also return 0. I equals 0 for I is less than tile type stat count I plus plus. Why is it unreachable? Check for adjacent. Still unreachable. What the heck? Well, I don't have the error there, so let's put the return there. Is it the backup return? It shouldn't just. Yeah, okay. So this is not working whatsoever. Pretty good. Case 3. It's lucky. So 0, 1, 2, 3. 0 being blank, 1 being basic, 2 being advanced, 3 being lucky. 0, 1, 2, 3. Okay, hold on. Okay. So Well, that's just drastically different. So if lucky is equal to true, it has to return 0. Oh, okay. I think I'm understanding what I was doing wrong. Uh, Gosh darn it, how do I mess up so bad that I almost lose the code because I accidentally controlled C at empty space. Fun. Okay, and then this will just be an else. Okay. Um, Not that this will necessarily fix everything, but hopefully it's not as bad. Okay, so it checks for adjacent, which makes it a new list. Switch the new list. If it contains a key, fills the list with the tile type name. So it should just return it should just return a grass tile connected to the base. I think it's working. This one right here is really concerning me because we've gotten this one multiple times now. So it's kind of strange. Like the same pattern every time. So, okay. I might end up just taking a break from this. But like I think it's working, but it's not working also in a way. Basic tile. It's a basic tile, then it's going to return type blank, basic, or advanced. Hmm. Well, I know that it's spawning. So I feel like it's just not. I feel like it's just not working though, because it's just so weird. What it did is spawned one singular. Oh. Oh. I'm starting to see the issue here. So the adjacent check. Okay, I see the issue. So the adjacent check here is using its transform position, and then that's not right. That because that's just a 0, 0 position object in the world, and not the tile that is calling this function. So what I need to do is make this transform.position into whatever game object it is that I'm working with, that I'm creating. So I don't know this game object's check. Okay, I don't know this game object's this game object's position, but I do just know it's straight up x and y or z value that I want it to be. So what I could do is send that data to check touching tiles. What does it use spawn tiles for? I don't think it does use spawn tiles for anything. Check for adjacent does. If createGrid.spawn tiles contains key underscore key. Okay, I think I see another issue too. So spawn tiles. This should be given to this function down here. Spawn tiles should be this instead. And then this just has to accept, oops, this just has to accept this. And then this just needs to send it. And these need to all send it. Okay. So now that that is using that spawn tile, so we don't need the cell position. What we can do is okay. I will get a new vector of cell position. So I will do that, which means that this needs to now accept the new vector 3 as well, or vector 2. And then so does this. Then I can just go ahead and send that your way. Then once more, press tab 45 times. Okay, save that. Cell positions now are given by this new vector, vector2 int, just to make it easier. And this should all just work out. Sweet. Okay, now I will attempt to run it again. And let's see if it plays out any differently. Error immediately. Fantastic. Object reference not set to an instance of an object. $115 world growth generator. That is this one. It is literally checking if it contains the key, then do the thing. What do you mean? What do you mean, bro? Okay. So I'm just confused because it is doing an if statement if it contains key. Alrighty. Oh, okay. I think it's because I have a feeling maybe that my town tile might not have a tile script on it. That might be the only issue. There we go. And here it actually looks like it followed the constraints pretty good. Besides right here and right here, I'm noticing lucky tiles are spawned on top of each other. So I'm confused because, oops, because shouldn't be doing that. Does it have a -1 +1? It does have a -1 +1. Run it again. I can check. Okay, it's still happening. Was it a fluke? It happened twice on the first time. I didn't think it was. So, what is causing this issue? Ugh. So, on the tile, the default should be a blank tile, so that shouldn't be the reason why. So, so now I want to not debug the count. But in fact, I want to just debug keys I with edge list keys I dot get component tile dot tile type, so that it can tell me if it in fact does know or does not know what is around it. Well, now you want to act right. It's not a single one that's next to it. I need it to happen again so I can test. Once again, didn't happen. Okay. Just change a debug statement and would fix the problem. There we go. Okay, so it thinks there's 1, 2, 3 blanks, and it knows that there's a lucky next to it. What about this one? Advanced, blank, blank. Is that true? So it marked the same blanks, correct, but it did not know that there was a lucky tile here at all. So it only thinks that there's 5 things touching it? 2, 3, 4, 5, yeah. Okay. I'm curious now why that might be. Alright, well, literally not miss watching, but I think I'm just gonna call it. That was a good, productive-ish 2 hours. And I can play this back for myself later if I ever need to re-inform myself on what I did today.